Hello, welcome to Matters of DeCorum. I'm Scott Corum. This is what matters to me. This is Heroes Feast, the official Dungeons and Dragons cookbook. And I've haven't prepared any of the recipes in here, nor had any of these prepared for me. They look amazing. There's a lot of gaming flavor, and everything's divided up by dwarven cuisine and human cuisine and halfling. It's all really good looking, to tell you the truth. And I should probably see about making a few of these. I've got an event coming up where a group of us are going to be together for a while, and having this along and preparing some of these might be a really good idea. I was asked in a recent comment to address the culture around gaming, the food and whatnot that gets associated with the experience of gaming, which I feel a little off talking about, mostly because all of my gaming has been online for the past 2.5 years. Go figure, I wonder why. That is not to say that I do not have a good background in the subject. There's a term for the casual get-together Dungeons and Dragons game or role-playing experience. If you're just going to get together and do something not that deep, you're just going to throw some dice and have some laughs and beat up some bad guys, that's generally referred to as a beer and pretzels game. And it's interesting that is that part of the culture, and that the culture itself of role-playing games in general are that closely associated with food, with snacks, with the food and beverage of just relaxing, just kicking back and having a good time. The same kind of things you might expect at a casual poker game or a sporting event. Just beer and pretzels. Or, as most gamers would probably prefer to have it, just some Mountain Dew and Cheetos. I've had Mountain Dew and Cheetos games. Those are not bad times. Those are perfectly acceptable. The gaming group that I was with in college, the club, Knights of Ithilien, we had the key to the club room one day a week, where we could go and get as many sodas as we wanted, and did. So there's this tray of styrofoam cups full of ice and sodas out of the fountain that we would just have. It's accepted that you have access, if you're a club and you're engaging in this activity, you need to have access to refreshments, to something to liven up and enjoy while you are enjoying your other activities. And over the years, well, I'm a foodie. No surprise to anyone, really. I like me my food. Even now that I have a tremendously diminished appetite, I still like food. I'm a little bit more quality over quantity these days, but food has always been a part of the gaming experience. You're going to be sitting down for 4 hours, 6, 8 hours, sometimes longer, and you're going to get hungry. You're going to get thirsty. You're going to want to have something to keep you going. No one likes gaming hungry. That's not a fun experience. Making people hungry with your dungeon mastering is one thing, which I do enjoy doing, but it's rude to do that if there's not something around for people to eat as a consequence of having gotten a little narvy in the tummy, And it doesn't have to be anything big and fancy. You grab some burgers beforehand. You take a break halfway along and run down to the place on the corner. Grab yourself a little something. Get a pizza delivered. That's a fairly common one. Or you go someplace like Little Caesars. It's $5 a pizza. There's 10 of us. Let's get 3 or 4 pizzas and throw in. Everyone throw a little cash in the pot, and we'll go and get pizzas for everyone. You're a little short this week. Not a problem. Pick me up next week. All of that is just part of the culture of you're going to be together for a little while. You're going to get hungry. Let's we're sharing this game, we're sharing this experience, let's share some food. Breaking bread with the people that you're with is a sign of community and to some degree a sign of family. And my gaming groups form a certain form of extended family to me. They're friends. They're that close. People that I care about. That I care about the well-being of. We start our sessions with, "Hey, how's everyone doing? Everything okay?" And genuinely concerned. Not one of those. I'm not expecting everyone to give me a perfunctory, "Oh, we're fine. Everything's good." Nah, nah. If there's a problem, I want to hear about it. If there's something I can do to help, I want to help. And that's basically the attitude around the table. And if that's the way you feel about the people that you're with, or even if you're just gathering up with some friends, hey, I'm moving, can I use your truck, friends? You want to have a little something there that everyone can enjoy. You want to enjoy a meal or at least a snack with those friends. Uh, I've hosted games in my home before. It's been quite some time, but because I am a foodie, because I enjoy the process of cooking, and I like to make food. I like to imagine food and come up with new things. I would offer up some stuff for people to eat. Uh, Everything from uh, grilled salmon fajitas, which were always a big hit, to my somewhat infamous Klingon battle chili. Uh, which I should probably make again at some point in time. I don't want to lose the touch. You know what I mean? And you want to give people something. Nutrition wasn't always the top of the list, but something filling, something satisfying, something that's going to make them feel like they've been fed and that care has been taken. Even back the days when I was running the role playing department at Strategicon with my friend Mandy. There was a tradition in the RPG room. It had been started by some of the people who ran it before us. The perpetual chili pot in role playing headquarters. Uh, we just get bricks of chili in a chub from some big stores like, man, even before Costco, Smart and Final, I think, had these things. And cans of chili and throw whatever ingredients we could together, toss some hot dogs in there, and just let it start slow cooking when we got there and started setting up the headquarters. And if one of our game masters came in hungry, they hadn't taken time, they came to the con without the resources to get themselves food while they were here. They just came to run games. They're going to be here and just kind of planned to run on luck and charity. Well, charity was if someone who was working in the headquarters, some of the staff, who had been pushing themselves and forgot to take care of themselves, there was always a bowl of chili. A bowl of chili, some crackers, and a can of soda. It That kept some people alive during those cons. People would often show up to the cons excited to go and ready and having maybe prepared for it and maybe not, and with what they had. And sometimes feeding yourself goes by the wayside at times like that. It's stressful and running around trying to get from one game to the next. You could stop, have a bowl of chili, put some crackers in it, maybe get one of the hot dogs out. We would just keep throwing those in. We didn't get the expensive ones, just they weren't expensive, they weren't big, it wasn't fancy, but it was a good filling pot of chili. Someone in the room notices, hey, chili pot's about halfway down. We just throw in another can. We generally had it worked out to where we'd finish the con with maybe a can or two left, and you just get a case of them at Costco. It's not that expensive when it comes right down to the overall expenses. We had office expenses that we could throw in there. We threw that in. Every so often we get fanciful and have pixie sticks and other sodas and a little Kool-Aid off to the side for people who wanted some options. And that worked out. I've worked hospitality at cons that had whole departments devoted to that, where it was a lot fancier. These are furry cons I used to work at in here in Los Angeles, and the areas around. And a friend of mine, Devin, my assistant person who helped me out, she's in the background to some of my earlier videos, uh, was usually the head or close to the head of these departments. And you'd get sandwich meat and bread and cheese and some condiments, variety boxes of little bags of potato chips and whatnot, some healthier options, what you could put out, little containers of hummus, and have that there. Someone was hungry, they could come up to hospitality and get fed. There was a green room across the hall, a room for staff, where you have more things like chili and oatmeal and things that people could have if they needed food. There's diabetic options for people who needed something to either bring their sugar up or something they could eat that wouldn't bring their sugar up. A fairly complicated process. That's You gotta have food when you're going to be having activities like that. If you're hosting, that's something you gotta think about. Even if all you do is, hey guys, it's about 4 o'clock. We started a little while ago. Want to start thinking about maybe throwing some money in the pot for a pizza, or do we want to go out for burgers? Just make sure that there's that. Different gaming groups have handled it in different ways. And every gaming group is different. And, it's not a requirement, it's a bit of etiquette. It's something that you probably want to address. And because people get hungry, you're probably going to address it at your game. Uh, let me do three different groups, three different styles. The group at Mike's Garage, the group from Redondo Beach, haven't met in a while, and some folks have gone out in the wild blue. I'm hoping we can get together at some point in time, figure something out to put the group in one place one time, even as virtual. There was places within walking distance. There's a Trader Joe's on the way, but just walking from the house. There's McDonald's on one corner. There was Valentino's Pizza if you just turned the other way. And Valentino's Pizza had just great food for not that much money. The pizza rolls, it's a sausage roll, a sausage with some sauce and some cheese and some peppers in dough wrapped up. That was $2-3, and that'd keep you going for a while. A little sauce to dip on the side. That was great. There was a Tommy's Burgers. If you would walk a little bit further than McDonald's, there was another burger place. Some of the best chili burgers I've ever had. There were not a lot of super healthy options. We could stop at the Trader Joe's going in, like I said, but or my friend Dave would pick up me and Vic, and what do we want to eat on the way? And because there's driving the path that we took, there was so much food, we would just stop, grab something, some burgers, some fried chicken, some tacos. There are just so many options. We'd show up, we'd have a little food, game for a while, show up, have lunch, game for a while, have dinner, and it was a good time. It was all go out and get food. Rarely, every so often, Mike could clean up the barbecue and get everything hooked up. A bit of a pain, and we'd bring over some steaks or some ribs, and we'd have a day of barbecuing out in the backyard. And you didn't get as much gaming done on those days because someone's got to tend the barbecue and I got the fire. But if we're at a point where it's light, or we decide it's going to be a nice day outside, we don't want to spend all day cramped up in the garage, let's have a barbecue. That's the other consideration. It's nice to cook for folks when you're doing stuff, but gaming takes a lot of time. Ideally, gaming takes a lot of time. You want to have something that's arranged for that, but yeah, that's how Mike's Garage basically handled it. We'd go out for food for the most part, and there are plenty of options and places to do that. Warriors of Wednesday. That group has been through a lot of iterations, and back in the day when the group started off, back when it was Eclectus on Wednesday night, and Mandy was the host, we'd have amazing food because Mandy enjoyed providing us with amazing food. And we'd plan it a week or so in advance and do the shopping and get in there. And spaghetti or every so often I would bring over the electric griddle and I would make sliders. Uh, but we'd stretch and have miso soup or sukiyaki. Uh, tried making our own sushi from time to time. There were a lot of experiments done, and sometimes it was hot dogs. Sometimes fire up that grill, throw on some burgers. I discovered my friend Wayne's butter burgers and baked beans. Oh God. And that was so good. And we started to enjoy the cooking more and more and just became part of the process. As that group evolved and moved from place to place, we did some amazing campfire cooking there, a Dutch oven, and I made a stew from scratch once. That was just phenomenal. But it's Devin's house that we would do most of this stuff at. And well, having been the head of hospitality for conventions, we never went hungry. There was always snacks and cookies and candy for those you need a little something on the edge to keep you going. But then there'd be big pots full of oniony beef broth with roast beef cooking in it all night. You'd make yourself sandwiches, get yourself a cup of the jus and have beef dips, basically. I've made biscuits and gravy there for dinner once, and if I do say so myself, though the biscuits came out of the can, the gravy was from scratch, and it kind of made up the difference. And I could probably go for that again. I could go for that right now. I just had breakfast, and I can go for some biscuits and gravy right now. But and my son Andrew started cooking for groups at that event. We're grilling hot dogs and burgers or what have you. You get together once a week. There's a Smart and Final down the street, or there's a Ralph's the other way, and we'd either make a plan or we'd go out and see what we could find for what we had in our pocket and throw it together. It took time. We'd start getting together with 3 or 4. Some of us didn't get off work until 5 or so, which was fine. Some of us would go shopping, get things around. We often didn't start gaming until 7, maybe 8, get 2 or 3 hours of gaming in out of a day that we've been together that long, but it was almost more of a social time. And that worked out very well. Rarely did we resort to, well, let's go down to the Del Taco and pick up a family pack or 2, or just create a hamburger someplace. Didn't feel like cooking. That worked too. It's usually a little bit more expensive those days, but that was a consideration for the time. Who's got stuff to throw in? Okay, let's throw in. And you got the one person, you got Josh, who's always throwing in a 20 every week, just throws the 20. He's like, okay, let's have some stuff. To the point where it lives here now. We've got a piggy bank that we had there that we just throw all the money in and take out what we needed for that. And if there's anything left over, that stayed for the next week or for when someone couldn't contribute or when the group was just hungry and we were all kind of down on it. And okay, well, what's in the pig? Let's throw that together. And that worked out so well that we were eventually able to get some media equipment for the house to enhance our gaming and help us bring some people in remotely who, for one reason or another, weren't able to make it with us. They didn't get to share the food, but they were on the screen while we were gaming, and we had the games. And that is a group that is likely to happen again, and those events are likely to have some form of that in the future. It's the community is good enough. I still spend time 3, 4, 5 days a week with that particular group. That's folks who've helped to keep me sane during the past few years of insanity. And then on a different level entirely is the layer action. My friend Candace hosts at the layer action at her house in Lomita. And Uh, Again, this has been suspended since everything has shut down more or less, and I've gone into self isolation for personal health reasons. Uh, I've gone over once or twice, but those are carefully orchestrated events. But Candace is an amazing hostess, and she will not let people be hungry in her house, which is an excellent quality in a hostess. Uh, but I've gone over for a pancake brunch, uh, starting the game with a pancake brunch or baked brie and jam, or cookies and maybe a s'mores pie further on down the evening. If we didn't start the evening down the street at our favorite sushi place that's got an all-you-can-eat evening that is just to die for. Their stuff's amazing. Uh, we share places that we want to go and try stuff out. Our remote friend Nick is showing up at the end of February, and we're going to go out and what the yes, we can do some gaming together, all together in the same room, which is fantastic. But the first thing we talk about, oh, Nick's coming out. Where are we going to eat? There's a cafe in the middle of downtown Disney. The food is absolutely amazing. The drinks are really good. They serve a fantastic sangria blanco, and I can't pass that up. Hard for me to walk the distance these days, but it's absolutely worth it. Uh, and after going there and having a perfectly serviceable lunch, really tasty food, very filling, uh, walk around for a little while, get our appetites back up a little bit, sightsee, window shop, and then since we're in Anaheim, we got to go to Requiem, uh, the gaming coffee bar, and my only issue with Requiem is I've got a bad back, and there aren't a lot of comfortable seats for people with bad backs, which isn't as much of a problem these days because I generally take my seats with me. The walker is very comfortable for me to sit in, and so that comes in with me, and that's where I sit. And we'll have a coffee and maybe a pastry. They have amazing sandwiches too. Great little place. I wouldn't go there for a meal if I was super hungry, if I really needed to fill up, as it's not a meal place, it's a sandwich place. It's a little apple and cheese Danish next to my coffee place, in a decent atmosphere, where I wouldn't mind gaming. Uh, Again, gotta take my own seating, but I take books and dice and throw them there for a little while. But that's because I've also got the food to keep me going, back me up, and just a great drink selection. Some of which you can make a little bit harder than your other drinks. If you take my meaning, nudge, nudge, wink, wink. I try not to drink too much while I'm gaming. I drink alcohol too much while I'm gaming. Because I like to stay sharp. If I'm running, if I'm playing, I might have a little something to loosen me up and ease the tension. But the layer action as a group, got a little distracted there by the amazing places. Uh, that is a different variety of foodie, different variety of that. One of the things we're planning on doing when Nick shows up, a high tea. We went to a high tea the last time he was out, and it was a little disappointing to us. The prices were too high, and the tea was perfectly acceptable, but the quality of the food, um, it was okay, but it was just okay. And if you're going to be charging a tremendous amount of money for someone to have a high tea, you really need to step up that food game. But a good high tea you can make at home, very inexpensively, and not that much effort. It's some little sandwiches. It's some cookies or biscuits, petit fours, even if it's just little bits of cake, a nice tea to go with it, and just a calm and peaceful atmosphere to enjoy your entire meal of little snacks. I could do a high tea with Moore's Wednesday, but it would hit differently. Different environment, different kinds of people, and I'm sure that'd be something that everyone would enjoy. I'd have to make more sandwiches probably. But it's not that these groups couldn't interchange their meal styles and still work perfectly functional. It's just the meal style that a group has is part of that group's personality, and I wouldn't change them for the world. And maybe it's my involvement um, that I'm focused so much on the food involved. There's a group that we had years back, the Heim, as we call our group in Anaheim, and every so often I would just take over food and make it there. Often it was a stop on the way. There is an amazing barbecue place on the way to the gaming in Anaheim called Chris and Pitts. Still a couple of those out here in California. And it's for California, it's one of the two barbecue places I would recommend as a barbecue place. That and the Bear Pit in the Valley, genuine Missouri style hickory barbecue. Can't pass that up. But stop at Chris and Pitts on the way, or some fast food place if you're not looking to get that involved with your food on the path to your game. Or I'd make battle nachos, or just get a bag of chicken wings and bake those with salt and pepper, just so there'd be food for people to have. We could order pizza, often did. You can stop and get burgers on the way, or someone could go out and just get a pile of burgers, throw money on the table, someone go out and get hamburgers until the money's gone and bring them back. It's always, the food has always been important to the game. So what would I recommend? Well, see what your group likes. This is one of those things where communication is really important when you're talking about uh, what to do for the group. Absolutely all of these things I have talked about have been the result of discussion. Would you like this? I would like to try that. Would you be interested? Uh, hey, I'm kind of hungry. This is what my budget is. What do you think we should do? And yeah, you're going to have an entire room full of, I don't know, what do you want to do? So someone eventually is just going to have to make a decision, and the consequences of having made a decision is everyone wanting to have had something differently, but not having wanted to say it. Gaming groups are not different from any other social group in that way or means, but uh, you get over that and you get through it, and you come to, well, here's the list of foods that we like, here's a list of ways we want to eat it, and what are we going to do this week? It's a part of the growing of that group's personality and the culture of that particular group. What language do we use as this group? What phrases come to our minds? What colloquialisms does the group develop on its own? What stories do we tell about the games that we have had that relate to things moving forward? How does that creep into our language? What do we like to eat? It's all part of that group identity that gaming groups get. If you've got a new group and you don't know, it's good to have a list of what's available in the area. Uh, Here in Southern California, particularly here in Torrance, California, I have so many options. Even if I'm just using a service like DoorDash, um, there's always pizza. There's always pizza, fried chicken, hamburgers, but then I can go off and do we want to order some pho or sushi? Do I want to get Italian, Korean, Greek, any ethnicity of food I am interested in? I can probably reach out and just get within 20, 30 minutes of this place. If I have to go that far out, it's unusual. But Thai, Philippine, Eastern European, I can get food from just about any corner of the world here, and there are Irish pubs, I could, or even a couple of places that have cuisine from England. I could get Dine Dash, Bubble, and Squeak here, which I kind of like me some Bubbles and Squeak. I prefer the bangers and mash, but if all I can get is Bubble and Squeak, that's fine. Ooh, steak and kidney pie, also very good. Because of restrictions in American food processing, I cannot order haggis, which is unfortunate because I would really like to try haggis even just once. Um, I'm not sure where the closest place I can go to get haggis would be. I'll have to find. It's mostly the fact that there's lungs in it, and that's not part of the meat processing that is generally available. You can't even get that at a specialty butcher store. You can't serve lung for some reason. Health concerns, most likely. But I do want to try it at some point in time. But I digress. Have a list of what's available to you in your area and throw it out there. Hey guys, how's it going? We're probably going to be here for a little while. So down the line, I'm probably going to want food. Anyone got any preferences? Are there any food allergies here? Is there anything that we can't order? Stuff that people just won't eat? Which you'll have that in a group. And sometimes that means you get food from several different places where people get their own food. Hey, everyone, grab a meal on your way in. We're probably just going to go straight through. So get a burger or something when you come on your way over, and we'll just go. Also perfectly acceptable. But as the group grows and spends more time, as people want to get there a little bit more quickly, or you want to do some things together, you want to break bread with that group. If you want to sit down and share the meal, even if you're gaming with your mouth full for half an hour or so while everyone gets all their food down, that's also, depending on the group, probably perfectly acceptable. And a group that gets to the point where, you know what? Let's eat together. Let's break bread. Let's have a meal while we're doing this. Let's get food from the same place. Let's enjoy a table of food as a group. It builds community. It builds your group dynamic. Fills your belly, makes you happy, gives you that satisfied feeling. You get some endorphins, the serotonin lifts up, and you move on with your game full of nutrients, and your blood is satisfied with the stuff that you've given it, good for you or bad for you. Your blood will sing with the same from a delightfully cooked sushi meal or a giant pile of French fries with cheese and gravy on it. Ooh, I need to try poutine too. It's on my list. Your blood will be just as satisfied, and you will move forward as a group, having shared that meal. You'll all have had the same experience. Well, what did you think of that? Yeah, that's a pretty good burger. And my default is burgers. You may have noticed because that's a big part of my personal culture, on top of everything else, and it's the culture I live in. You get to compare notes. You get to see how other people react to the food that you have. You build that set of connection, of networking, of culture and community. And yeah, groups I have experienced that are successful as groups who get along and have longer lasting playtime, folks who build good group dynamics, have good character chemistry, who have better games, are generally groups that eat together, groups that have some form of that. Y'all go to the same restaurant. Oh, geez. The late night runs to Denny's and Steak and Shake. Denny's, for feck's sake. I've had so many games in Denny's. And is the food great? No. Is the food perfectly acceptable? Yeah. There's a Denny's over here on Sepulveda. It's been through a number of revamps and restructuring. They've redecorated, moved everything around a few times. Back in the mid '90s, dating myself quite a bit here. Back in the mid '90s, me and two of my friends, we'd Travis and Joe. Hey guys, how's it going? We'd uh go pick up Joe. Travis and I get off work, go pick up Joe. We'd go grab some sushi at Sushi Boy, just really fast. Go to the park with some Shanai sticks for Boken because we're stupid, and we'd spar, we'd practice, we'd play at sword fighting for a little while until we got properly hungry. Sun starts to go down, it's getting a little bit late. The cops have rousted us at least once for swinging sticks at each other in a public park, and we go to the Denny's. There's a table in the corner. It has since moved and all the numbering has changed. But while we were going, the table in the corner in the window was table 42. And so, of course, we took that one whenever we had the opportunity. We'd ask for that one if they tried to sit us someplace differently. And we had varying levels of financial wellness at that point in time. But I'd always just keep ordering grilled cheese sandwiches, French fries, and milkshakes during the evening. Joe and Travis would order their stuff. We'd settle up at the end of the night. And we'd game. We would game from when the sun went down on Friday evening to when the sun came up on Saturday morning. All night marathon sessions, usually groups time travel. And we just built a huge lore and history during that game. And that would be us there at that Denny's. After we've been doing that for a couple of months, routinely every Friday, manager came over to us one day, just asked us what we were doing. And, we pointed to the dice and explained the game a little bit. And he nodded. And what he had was three happy customers, three happy regulars in the main window of his place for 12 hours at a time, every weekend reliably. He looks at us and goes, you know what? You guys come in, you get pie. You just get pie. Tell me what pie you want. We give you pie. So we not only do we show up and did we have our game and our meal, but we'd each get a free slice of pie every week. Gaming and food is important. Gaming and free pie, more so. Well, thank you for following me along with this particular ramble. The culture and etiquette of gaming, as far as it comes to food and that sharing of the meal, it's important. It's more important than I usually think of, because you think of the techniques of the gaming and the story and the people and the communications. Food isn't the core of the gaming, but it's the cement that holds the group together. And I'm very lucky that I have groups that have seen it the same way that I do, and who have adapted to these cultures of breaking bread together. If you enjoyed the video, give me a thumbs up. If you didn't enjoy the video, give me a thumbs down. Feedback is feedback. I want to hear about your experiences. What foods do you eat at your games? If you eat foods at your games, what foods would you like to try? Are there rituals that you have for selecting your food? Really, I want to know, because that's a big thing sometimes. What is your experience with gaming and cuisine? Things you'd like to hear me address, stories you'd like to hear me tell, questions you'd like to hear me talk about. Leave me a comment down below. I will love getting your comment. You'll love leaving me one. If you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, why not? My channel is awesome. Hit the subscribe button. If you do, you might want to hit the notification bell so that you're alerted when my videos become available. If you'd like to help the channel out in a more substantial manner, I invite you to hit me up at my Patreon page, www.patreon.com/ScottCorum, and consider donating. Absolutely anything helps. Allows me to make better videos more often. In the meantime, thank you very much for watching. I'm Scott Corum. This is what has mattered to me. I will see you next time on the next Matters of DeCorum.